I used to wake up every morning, make my coffee, and sit out on my dock, the lake reflecting the sky like glass. It was quiet, peaceful, mine. Well, not technically mine, but I owned the land, and the water hugged it like an old friend. That was before the HOA. See, 3 years ago, the local homeowners association, one that I wasn't even a part of, got ambitious. They decided the far side of the lake, previously untouched and protected, was perfect for a development. 29 prefab homes, cookie-cutter boxes stacked like sardines, facing my shoreline like a wall of spectators. They thought it was brilliant. Easy access to the water, scenic views, instant property value boost. Except, and here's where it gets real, fun. They didn't know the lake rises in the summer. Has for decades. And when that water creeps up, it doesn't ask for permission. But of course, they didn't listen when I warned them. They never do. So when the rains came and the water did what water does, let's just say I had the best seat in the house to watch the HOA's empire sink. But this wasn't just nature doing me a favor. Oh no, I had a hand in what happened next, and they never saw it coming. It started with a knock on my door. "Hey, we're with Lakeside Shores HOA," said a guy in a golf shirt that cost more than my chainsaw. "Just want to let you know about an exciting new development across the lake." They showed me blueprints, smiled a lot, talked about community vision. I wasn't buying it. "You do know the water rises in summer, right?" I asked, pointing to the faded water line on a rock behind them. They laughed. "Yeah, we've done our research," one of them said. "We've got engineers." Spoiler, they didn't. A month later, the construction began. Trees bulldozed. Bird habitats trashed. They dredged part of the lake, my side, without asking. When I complained, I got a letter. "Dear Mr. Claiborne, while you are not a member of the HOA, your cooperation with neighborhood improvements is appreciated. That's HOA speak for, we're going to do what we want, and you can't stop us." Then came the fences, ugly chain link along what used to be open trail. Then lights, bright white floodlights from their little lakeside backyards, shining across the water into my bedroom at night like interrogation beams. I tried talking to them. "This used to be a wildlife preserve," I said. "This is progress," they said. Then came the petty stuff. My dock was suddenly non-compliant. A violation notice showed up. No letterhead, just HOA printouts shoved in my mailbox. Again, I wasn't part of their HOA. That was just the beginning. One morning, I woke up to find my dock gone. Not destroyed, removed. Hauled off like stolen scrap. I called the sheriff. He shrugged. "It's civil. Take it up with the HOA." But again, I wasn't a member. So, who exactly let them do that? That same week, my mailbox was hit with a baseball bat, 3 times in 1 month. No cameras across the lake, they made sure of that. Then came the fines. They started posting warnings on my property gate. Noise violations. I live alone in the woods. Improper water access. One even cited me for unauthorized lake interaction. What does that even mean? I tried to get answers, so I attended one of their board meetings. They refused to let me speak. "It's a closed session," said Karen number 3. "You're not a homeowner under our association," said Chad, the board president, who wore socks with sandals. They built a community boat launch into my side of the lake. I'd find families I didn't know fishing off my shoreline. I posted a private property sign. It disappeared. I put up cameras. They were accidentally knocked off trees. One night I caught a kid spray painting HOA approved on my boathouse. His mom showed up the next day to yell at me for filming a minor. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," she said. "Oh, lady, you have no idea how hard I can make it." Then came the rain, June storms heavy and fast. The lake began to swell like it always does. I watched as water kissed the bottom of their decks, then lapped at their sheds, then submerged their brand new mulch. They panicked, and I watched. I hadn't said a word yet, but I had a plan, see? What they didn't know, or didn't care to learn, was that this lake wasn't man-made. It was a natural basin, spring-fed, and legally designated as a public navigable waterway, which meant they couldn't regulate it. Not legally, but by dredging, building, and fencing access points without permits, they were in deep water. Pun intended. I gathered everything, photos, videos, a 1978 Department of Natural Resources report, and a signed letter from the previous owner confirming the seasonal flood patterns. I sent it all, not to them, but to the State Environmental Agency. While that cooked, I made a few phone calls. One to the local news, one to an environmental lawyer who loved this kind of story. Then I took a walk, in waders, past the rising water line, right up to where their development began. I posted one sign. This shoreline is under active investigation for environmental code violations. Do not disturb. I didn't need to say who posted it. The seal from the agency made them sweat. Suddenly, HOA Karen wasn't barking about my dock. She was trying to build sandbags around her gazebo. They had an emergency meeting. This time, I was invited. I showed up, smiled, and handed out laminated copies of the legal statutes they'd broken. You can't do this, Chad spat. Oh, I didn't. The state can. 2 weeks later, the first cease and desist orders went out. Construction halted. The community boat launch ripped out. Fines? Thousands. Turns out their developer hadn't secured proper erosion permits either. The flood damage was already done. Several of the new homes had foundational rot. Insurance? Denied. The risk was known and avoidable. That's when the lawsuit started. Homeowners turning on the HOA board, screaming matches. Karen the referee tried to claim it was my fault for manipulating the ecosystem. Yeah, I controlled the weather, apparently. The best part. The state agency ruled that public access must be maintained around the lake, which meant every single homeowner had to either remove their fences or face daily fines. They built 29 homes for the lake view. Now they had to share it with everyone, even me, one Saturday. I kayaked right up to Chad's back deck, where he was bailing water with a bucket, and waved. Nice weather we're having, I said. He didn't wave back. These days, the lake is quieter again. Most of the new homeowners moved out or rented their places to short-term tourists. The HOA board replaced. They sent me a letter, a real one this time, apologizing and offering to collaborate on future shoreline preservation. I laughed. Then I framed it. The truth is, nature has its own rules. Water rises, trees grow back, and arrogance, well, that floats until it sinks. People like that HOA forget. Power isn't in paperwork or posts. It's in patience. I waited. I watched. And when the time was right, I let the lake speak. So, what would you have done? Let me know in the comments, and if you made it to the end, come on, justice served. So I know you're part of the no-nonsense shoreline squad. Remember, don't mess with nature, and definitely don't mess with the guy who drinks his coffee by the lake every morning and knows exactly where the water rises.